We all know the importance of exercise on the body and to the mind. Today I'm interviewing a bodybuilder who won lots of trophies and medals, Zaid Adamo. Welcome into my channel. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
All good, thank you.
Okay, when did you start exercising?
Probably around 34, 33 years ago, back home. Started like encouragement from my dad, and it carried on.
I see. And when did you figure out that you want to take it to the next level and be a bodybuilder?
Probably the first few years was just like, call it just a kind of like recreational, just for fun. And then I got hooked, and I said, you know what, that's what I want to be.
Okay. Is there a proper age to start a bodybuilding?
To be honest, no. Personally, for me, I started like around probably 15 years when I did start bodybuilding.
Okay.
And I know some people, some good friends who started in their 40s. Now they're in their 50s and 60s, and they're still kind of like adamant about it. They're motivated and still going.
So it is never too late to
Never too late, never too late.
Not only exercise, but bodybuilding.
Specifically bodybuilding. Yeah. And then to be honest, there's even nowadays there's like in bodybuilding there's like categories like in the masters division where they brought in even for like what they called like there's masters, there's grandmasters, and there's super grandmasters, which translates to like 40 years plus. 50 plus and 60 plus. There's bodybuilders well into their 60s and in their 70s, and they look phenomenal.
Amazing. Okay, so how long it took you until you became a bodybuilder? How many years to build the shape?
To start competing, probably if that's the right kind of like way to kind of like approach it, maybe like 3-4 years of exercising. Then I said like, you know what, let's take it to the next level and let's do a competition just to experiment.
Okay. What are the tips and tricks you want to give it to the people who wants to start bodybuilding?
Probably number one is patience. Number two is like a right approach with exercises, smart, and having like the right diet, because number one, patience, nothing will happen in a week or two. Okay. It will take probably a year maybe to see the results, like tangible results of the training. Nothing comes fast. And number two, like the right approach to training, you want to avoid injuries that will kind of like disencourage you, or kind of like, you know, pull you back from your workout, which have an adverse effect. Number three, diet. Obviously, you cannot build muscle without having the proper building blocks, without having the right material, without having the fuel to kind of like to burn, to allow to build muscle.
So that will take me to the next question, which is, what is the best food or diet that a bodybuilder should follow?
In general, kind of like speaking, we could say that for a every day to have a healthy diet, like let's say the plate we have, we could split it into like 4 quarters. So let's say 1 quarter should be protein, like, and the protein source could be fish, beef, chicken, any source of protein. The other quarter should be carbohydrates to give the fuel to burn, to allow the protein to synthesize in the muscle. And probably like the other 2 quarters, half of the plate should be vegetables and fiber. But speaking specifically about bodybuilding, there's a kind of like a very simple formula, which is every pound of body weight will require 1 gram of protein. So for an example, like a person who's like 180 pounds of body weight will require daily intake of 180 grams of protein, obviously of different sources, like shouldn't be one source. That could lead us like into having like supplements, for example, like food supplements. which is also like a requirement, or like, it's not essential. They're called supplements for a reason, but to supplement whatever is missing from my diet.
Yeah.
That could be whey protein to top up the daily protein requirements.
Yeah.
That could be vitamins, that could be omega-3 oil, fatty oils, and so on and so forth.
Okay. Is there any kind of food that you completely forbidden from take it while you do bodybuilding?
It depends on, let's say if I'm prepping for a show, let's say if in my crucial kind of like few weeks prior to a competition, then yes, I mean I shut down. There's like so many things I deprive myself from. That's a different story. But like if I'm off season, if in any given day, I think like anything in moderation is good. Yeah. Anything that's over will have obviously a bad effect. But I mean, in general, try to avoid as much as possible junk food, pizza, burgers, chocolate, sweets, candy, especially like candies and sweets. They're like, I try to avoid them. I look at them, approach them in a way more like a treat or like a reward, rather than being like a staple in my daily diet. I treat myself to a piece of chocolate every now and then.
Yeah, you tell us what every now and then mean, because other people maybe translated like every 2 days.
Yeah.
What is now and then?
Now and then probably would translate to one bi-weekly or maybe even monthly. I mean, that will be. I will appreciate that piece of chocolate way more than having it daily.
Yeah, but you were as well telling me there are like lots of ways you can take the sugar butts into our bodies. So maybe with doing different types of shakes. Can you tell me more? Yes,
for me, I like using hacks in my diet. So I mean, in a sense, it's like when you're on a strict diet, let's say a bodybuilding diet, that doesn't mean you have to punish yourself. You have to kind of like, I have to eat raw and blunt food just for the sake of, oh yes, I'm competing or I'm prepping for a show. No, you have to enjoy it. It's not like about punishing or torturing yourself. It's about like having it should be like a fun experience. So what I do, for example, one of the hacks I do is for me personally, I have a sweet tooth, and I confess, and I love chocolate.
Me too.
I love chocolate.
Me too.
So what I do is all my protein shakes, my whey protein shakes, they're chocolate flavor, and instead of having them like in a shake form, in a shaker, I do them more like in a more thick consistency, more like a pudding, where I can like spoon the protein rather than like just sipping it, right? So I make it like a chocolate. It's like a chocolate pudding. Throw in some frozen blueberries, to give that antioxidants as well, to give that more flavor, and it turns out to be something like a crossbreed between a chocolate pudding and a chocolate ice cream, and that's my daily treat.
Amazing, yeah. So if anyone who wants to start bodybuilding, they can depend on themselves by like looking into the apps or YouTube videos, or they need to hire a coach?
We're lucky to be living like in these days where there's a wealth of information out there on the internet. It's literally like like a feet away from us, like on our cell phone. Some information is good. Not all the information out there is the right information, but some is good and some is unfortunately like misleading. But again, there's like so many YouTube videos, there's so many resources, there are so many online coaches who you could kind of like hire a coach from the States or hire a coach in Europe. And literally that coach is on your phone with you 24/7. On the other hand, the way I personally look at it, if you're trying to kind of like, you haven't, let's say, worked out before, or you want to kind of like approach bodybuilding as I want to be a bodybuilder, I want to like compete or whatever. Probably the best way to approach it is to kind of like join the gym, join a community, expose myself to kind of like more resources, like real humans, not something like a video on a YouTube. Plus, hire a coach for two reasons. One, it's like going to school. I mean, for me, if I go to university, I would say, oh no, I'm going to teach myself. I don't need a professor to kind of like lecture me. I'm going to read books and I'm going to do it all by my own. No, definitely, I will need a professor, a teacher, a lecturer. On the other hand, there's like that kind of like commitment I'm going to build, internal commitment with that person. I've hired that person, I've paid that person this amount of money for him to train me or her to train me, and have to kind of stick my commitment. It's like going to school and having an exam. It's something that at least for the first probably 6 months or 1 year, where I develop that internal desire to go to the gym myself. But prior to that, I will need someone to kind of like encourage me, and at the same time to kind of like teach me. Once I have that certain level of confidence and knowledge, probably I could sail solo.
So maybe 2 years ago you posted on Facebook before one of your competitions, you had a coach helping you. Zaid Adamo, how does you need a coach after you have already won lots of medals and trophies before your competition? What the coach will help you in?
Bodybuilding coach, like it's always to have like another set of eyes to judge and to kind of like tweak and to kind of like fix some of the issues. In a sense, like going back, probably I've competed, like I've won national competitions here, first place nationals in Canada, and all depending on myself. I did my own prepping, my own diet, my own exercise schedule, everything from A to Z. My posing routines, everything. But when I want to kind of like break that ceiling and go to the next level, I definitely needed like a coach to kind of like help me to cross that kind of like bridge, let's call it. It's very important. I mean, definitely, he has more information, more knowledge, and you'll have these extra pair of eyes to kind of like give me a critique and guide me the right way. So thankfully, I did work with Freak Fitness with Darren Melling, a very good friend of mine, and him and his team helped me to kind of like win 2 more shows. After like we would start working together, and to earn my pro card in the last North American competition.
What are the competitions that you have been in Canada and in Iraq?
I've competed back home. I've competed, did a few shows. One of them was the Nationals. I got 2nd place back then. But then again, I wasn't probably taking it 100% serious.
Okay.
You know, it was a lifestyle, don't get me wrong. But like competing by itself wasn't the kind of like the objective.
Okay.
Just working out and staying healthy was my desire.
Okay.
Competing was something kind of like, you know what, that came with it. Like when we immigrated to Canada, no, you know what, I want to win a show, I want to try myself. It started again like an experimental, and again I got hooked.
Like I saw many of your trophies and medals, and you got to win to the 1st place. We are so proud of you, Zaid Adamo, as an Iraqi coming to Canada, represent the Iraqi people, represent our country. It's been years that Iraq has been put into a bad picture, but Iraq is not like this, and thank you so much for representing us. We are so proud of you.
I'm happy to be here and happy to help, and happy to help the Iraq community, and wish them all the best. And in saying that, late in the last few years, I'm so happy and proud to see that so many Iraqi bodybuilders have emerged and earned their pro cards. The last probably 4 years. Some of them are competing in major bodybuilding shows, and they're starting to make kind of like a sound. And I'm even happy to say that the latest Masters Mr. Olympia for the 212 category. The fourth place winner is an Iraqi.
Oh.
So I'm so happy and proud.
Yeah, yeah. We are all here, and like being in Canada, away from our country, all these initiatives and all these winning by Iraqi people make us happy and proud.
Definitely,
Yeah.
me too.
Have you ever thinking of being a coach yourself?
To be honest, I did many years ago. I did get my training certificate. So I'm technically I'm a coach. I could,
Okay.
but I can't find myself coaching. The problem is I don't have the patience.
I see. Lack of patience.
And the social skills. Probably I don't know, but I don't know. But I'm open to help. Open to kind of like answer any question, diet, workout, schedule, any health related questions. I'm there.
What does the weight exercising give to the body, and what the cardio exercises give to the body?
Okay, so in saying that, like, you know, looking at like the trinity of exercise, diet, and cardio, it's a very kind of like important kind of like combination. So number one, weight training obviously will what I'm doing, like during the weight training itself, the session, I'm breaking down the muscle fibers. So as a kind of like a side effect of that, the muscles will grow, like it's a scar tissue similar concept, where, like, you know, I keep on damaging and breaking down muscle fiber, and the body will repair it, and to repair it is going to like build that scar tissue, let's say. But it's in fact it's augmenting the size of the muscle cell, the fiber, and having like more strength, and obviously stronger tendons, eventually ligaments, and more endurance. So that's, and probably one point it's very important to mention, which rarely people will think about, it just kind of like came to my head, is after weight training specifically, there's something called happy hormones that gets released after, like, I expose myself to endorphins. Like after I expose my body to a very intense weight training, you feel like you walk into the gym with a kind of like a bit of a bad mood, but you leave, you're so happy, you're so kind of like, you know, elevated.
Yes.
Reason is the happy hormones are released in your body, the endorphins are released and give that well-being feeling. So it doesn't affect you weight training, not only like physically, psychologically, you're in a better mood. You walk in like stressed because of life, you walk out a different person. Cardio, on the other hand, will help you, like, obviously cardio, like, you know, anything that's depending on the cardiovascular system. So will help improve your cardiovascular system, your breathing, will help having better like lungs, better heart, better circulation, and it will definitely promote weight loss. So if you want to control your weight, you want to control, like, it's everyone complements the other, and diet comes in to tie in everything together.
Okay.
A proper diet.
Okay. So everyone nowadays have a very busy schedule day, whether maybe here or back home. What do you advise people what to do?
Always, I mean, be active. The objective is not being a bodybuilder myself. I do not never either bodybuilding or nothing else. I mean, just being active. If you don't have, let's say, the resources, the finances, the time, whatever it is, the reason, family obligations, I'm pretty much sure that you could spare probably an hour in your day, every day, to kind of like, you know what, I have my sneakers, my running shoes, I have my pair of shorts, my t-shirt, I go out for a jog in the neighborhood, I go out like in a trail next to where I live, go for a walk, an hour, like a brisk walk, like, you know, a fast-paced walk, something like enjoy the weather at the same time, that fresh air, and at the same time I'm kind of like exercising. If your objective is like more like weight training, you could spare a couple of feet in your room, in your basement in your condo, buy like a kind of like a mat, like an exercise mat, with a couple of like dumbbells, a couple of weights. Do your weight training there. I mean, if you could spare like an hour a day, which I think is doable, because you don't find time, you make time. You make time.
Basically, we make time.
You make time. I mean, that's about it. Just being active.
It is only, I think, the beginning of how to start exercising. That's the most important thing. People find it hard, but once you get used to, and once you start and get used to, it will be hard not to do an exercise.
100%, 100%. For me, I started like, call it a hobby and encouragement from my dad. Like he always encouraged me to kind of like go into that. And again, as a hobby, then it turned to be a lifestyle. It's like, for example, like having breakfast every day, or like taking a shower every day, or like, you know, it's something that's a staple in your life. You cannot not do it. If I miss my workout like for one day, for whatever reason, something's missing. It's like missing having breakfast, you know, missing having lunch. It's something's wrong.
Something is wrong. Okay, Zaid, thank you so much for your time and for all the tips that you give to us today. And we would like to go and see the trophies and medals that you already got them. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and pleasure having me, and thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you. It is an invitation for everybody. Please start exercising, whether it is from your own home, the comfort of your own home, walking, jogging, skipping ropes, or going to a gym, or enroll into one of the basketball, football games, or even swimming. Thank you so much for joining us today. We reach where all the medals and trophies, Zaid. Which one is the most important one for you?
So the most important probably could be the that pro card, they call it. That's called the pro card.
Okay.
So that could be one of the most important. Which, in other words, I mean, for soccer or football fans, what it translates to, there's the called the regular league and the super league.
Yeah.
So this is transition. Same thing in bodybuilding. There's like the regular league and there's the super league. Our super league is called the regular league is called the amateur league, and this is one the pro league, the professional league. So this is the transition to that league. But probably the one dearest to my heart could be this one. That's my first overall win. We lived in Newfoundland in 2009.
That was 2009, yeah.
So that could be the dearest to my heart. Yeah.
And what is the story behind these two?
These are like two first place. That's the first place reward for Canadian nationals. So I got first place in two competitions in Canadian nationals. That came in after I won my provincial overall, which qualified me back then to compete in the nationals. So yeah.
Zaid, I believe you consider all of these kind of your kids.
My babies.
Your babies. They all remind you of like the time, the exercise, the hard effort that you put, and all like the winnings as well.
100%. Like not only probably the win itself, but I mean the journey, the effort, the blood, sweat, and tears that came prior to kind of like winning. Each one did not come easy, so each one has kind of like a history, kind of like, you know, prepping and dieting and depriving myself, and again, like the sweet taste of like the reward of winning, you know, and that resembles it. We again, we say we are very proud of you as an Iraqi to get us all these medals from different competitions, Canada-wise and America-wise. Thank you so much for your time today, all the tips and tricks that you gave us today. Thank you for your time. Thanks for having me, and a pleasure being here.
Thank you, Zaid.